Okay, so that kind of sucks. I just spent the last 20 minutes making a video for an explanation for the texture editor, and for some reason the file didn't save correctly, so this is my second recording. Okay, so cancel. Alright, so um, this is the texture editor for Megaman Legends. The file location is megamanlegends.gitlab.io/-text. And like most of my tools, you're going to want to go to first import files, select all, or specifically select the TIM files that you want to work with, and then hit open. After that, the page is going to freeze up for a couple seconds or a couple minutes. I was too lazy to add in any kind of debug features to show it's working. What it's doing is it's reading all the files, it's reading all the TIM files, it's decoding them, it's indexing them, and it's saving them to your browser so you can work with them. So it shouldn't take too long. If you go grab a cup of coffee or a drink or something like that, maybe go to the bathroom, come back, it should be up and have all the files listed in the browser. And as you can see here, that's just about that. In the time it took me to explain it, the files are come up automatically, but it's just kind of disconcerting when you see it at first because I was lazy on time for this. I mean, I'm really trying to cut corners everywhere possible to just try and get this out, make it available, and then polish it later, something like that. But once they're in there, if you refresh the page, my network speed is pretty terrible right now, but as you can see that once they're indexed and once they're there, it doesn't take very long for the browser to acknowledge them once they're saved in the browser. So the way this works is the files are organized by .bin file, which are archive files, and then internally they have .tim texture files. And so there's two kinds, well not specifically two kinds, but there are several kinds of TIM files. You can see for this TIM file specifically, there's 8 palettes in one image. And you can see for the next image, there's 8 palettes and 0 images. So what's going on there is the game uses, the game will have image textures with images, and then it'll just have supplemental palettes that get copied into memory, and the palettes will be paired with other images later at runtime. I think they do that specifically to split up the memory calls or something, possibly. So the way this works is specifically if you have a title or something, you go to set image. Now if you can go ahead and for the title, I already have one prepared, so I'll go to MML1 PSX, let's see, public encode -E256, open, and then it'll go ahead and change the file out. I have got another one, set image, documents, dash texture, no pictures, no backgrounds, open. Go ahead and change that. And I'll go ahead and the surfbot. What we'll do for the surfbot was we'll go ahead and save, or maybe we could try something else. Let's see, palette 0. What's going on with the palettes in this? Green, blue. Huh. So there's different colors for the menu. Alright, I'm pretty sure that's the blue one. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll skip on saving it. So I guess we'll go ahead and we'll just demonstrate with the surfbot. So we'll go ahead and save image as to grab the surfbot. Now I already did this a second ago, so you can see what happens. We're going to save pigbots, and we're going to go ahead and show how to edit it. So once we're here, now there's a couple of things you're going to need to pay attention for editing textures. First, the width and the height. To be lazy, I copy everything into a 256 by 256 area, which means if the image is larger than what the TIM file expects, you're going to have to trim it down. The other thing you're going to have to look at is the number of colors. So this TIM file only expects 16 colors, which means when you edit the palette, you're going to have to cut down and use only 16 colors. Otherwise, the page just won't accept it. It says, I go through each pixel, I keep track of the number of of colors, and if there's too many colors, I just don't accept the file because I don't want to have to write extra code to try and figure out what you want to do, or split off into multiple palettes or something like that. So this is honestly just really quick and dirty stuff to again try and make this available, and you know, if I made a pixel editor or something, like it could honestly take me weeks or months. And so again, just hacky for the sake of preserving time and preserving some degree of sanity. So once we're in here, we're going to go ahead and cut down the image to 256 by 128, image crop to selection. And then once we're here, we can go ahead and start editing our surfbot. So we can go ahead and make them pink, though that if we just make them pink, that's mostly a palette edit thing. So to kind of show that we're editing the texture and not just the palette, we can go ahead and actually, let's go ahead and make this a shade darker. Okay, and pop it in here, and then another shade darker, and then pop it in here, and pop it in here. And then let's see what else. Blue for that. What? Oh, we've got brown. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and use these existing colors. Use these existing colors and grab a pencil, and let's here, and go ahead and grab a dropper, add a little bit of detail. Okay, and a little bit of outline, let's see, and then we can go ahead and edit some of the colors. Dropper. Get rid of this guy's frowny space. Get rid of this guy's. Get rid of some of these. Actually, I'll just go ahead and get rid of all of them for a second. Boom, boom, boom. And then let's see if I go in here, use the dropper, grab this, make it a little smaller. And then okay, so we've made our horrible abomination. Actually, no, I think, no, whatever. We've got our horrible abominations. We've turned surfbots into pigbots, and we gave them some nice, pootylicious clothes to wear. So let's go ahead and let's get one of these. Let's get rid of this extra palette because it causes problems. Which I'll explain in a second. So let's just go ahead and we don't want to have too many colors, or else my script will throw it away. So just get all these into one color and then pop it there, and then file. The last thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go to mode, index, and then we're going to go to want it 16 colors, and hopefully that'll work. File, overwrite PigBots. Here, set an image, PigBots, open. Too many colors. All right, I keep running into that. Image, mode, RGB, image, mode, index. 15, convert, file, overwrite. Boom, set image, PigBots. There we go. And now we have our PigBots with our Bootylicious t-shirt. And then once we're here, we're gonna go ahead and say export files, save the JSON file. And then once we're done with that, we're gonna wanna go to GitLab. One sec. Okay, it's still recording. So recording here. Okay. GitLab replace.js. Grab this file, and then what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna pop everything, downloads, cut, documents, dash textures, paste, replace that, and then close this. So what we're going to want to do is put everything into one folder. We should have a replace.js, dash texture.json, whatever your ROM file is. I'm using just track 1. I generally find that's the easiest to do. And we're going to go ahead and say open in terminal, and then say node replace mmo1.bin dash texture.json, and then we want to write this to out.bin. And then what that will do is it'll take the textures that we replaced in the UI, export them as a JSON file. What replaceable does is it goes through mmo1.bin.js or whatever your ROM file is, look for the files it needs to replace them, and then write them to whatever you specify in out.bin. Now, once we're done with that, we can go to PSXR, emulation shut down, go ahead and open. Go to dash textures, our out.bin file, open it. Skip through the introduction cutscene. And here we go. Dash DL Digital Adventures. We've got our little PigBots. They're pink. Okay, and then we can go ahead and check out their little poopy t-shirts that we went ahead and edited. So they've got poopy t-shirts on the front. They've got little pig noses. Wow, that looks terrible. That looks horrible. This is what you get for programmer art. But we have a different background and everything like that. So the textures have been replaced. Our surf bots are now PigBots with Bootylicious t-shirts. So that's it for the general introduction to the tool and how to use it. If you've got any questions, you can go ahead and ask. And so hopefully the idea isn't to make something perfect or some super finished pixel editor. This is mostly just be a quick and dirty proof of concept. And again, I cut a lot of corners to try to save time and save sanity. I'm going to focus back on exports again. And that's about it. So I just kind of hope that people see this as a fun thing to kind of play around with, modify the game, and do fun and creative things with Mega Man Legends, whereas before it was just a static game that you got to enjoy, once and then maybe a few times for a couple of replays. So that's it.